Hello everyone, welcome to the Music Professor channel and Merry Christmas. I'm here with Loki. He's got his Christmas bow tie on, although I don't know if it's I think it's very visible at the moment because he's lying on it, but perhaps later he will sit up and show you his bow tie. So I just come from reading a comment on the channel a moment ago where someone's written utterly boring yakka yak. So I think perhaps I ought to rechristen the channel the Utterly Boring Yakka Yak channel. So today's Utterly Boring Yakka Yak will be about, well, Christmas songs really, and Christmas music in general. And it's a slightly enormous subject. It's probably the biggest subject of all because, I mean, how many millions of Christmas related pieces are there? It's very much a musical time of year, a time when music kind of comes to the fore, even more than normal. So I suppose the key thing today is to just talk about a few of my favourite pieces or almost randomly chosen Christmas pieces that come to my mind and see where we go with it. I guess the quintessential Christmas piece in many ways is Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Ballet, which he didn't particularly like. It was first performed in 1893 in the Mariinsky Theatre in St. Petersburg, and it didn't go particularly well because the critics said that the cast were looking a bit tubby, and Tchaikovsky himself thought that the other piece on the double bill, his opera Iolanthe, was better. But I guess history has proved rather otherwise, that the real masterpiece of the evening was the ballet. It's such a wonderful piece. Well, look, let me play you a few bars of the overture. You see, you're straight in there with something that feels festive and even Christmassy in terms of these lovely, lovely chords, lovely chord spacings. Everything pretty much above middle C. In fact, in the orchestration, Tchaikovsky avoids having any bass instruments in this overture. There are no cellos, no basses or anything, no bassoons as far as I remember. So it's all upper voice instruments to get that sort of toy, it's almost like a toy piece. Fabulous. Anyway, it's such a wonderful score, and everyone, I suppose a lot of people know this piece because of the Nutcracker suite. I think the ballet itself is absolutely wonderful and well worth listening to in its entirety. It's a magnificent example of narrative musical storytelling, and the orchestration is so wonderfully vibrant and has all these beautiful things, you know, the famous Celeste and so forth. Right, that's enough on the Nutcracker. Jumping from Tchaikovsky to Bartok may seem a bit strange, but I love Bartok's 1915 collection of Romanian Christmas carols. He went to villages in Romania and selected songs that they sang at Christmas time and made this beautiful collection of pieces. Here's one of them. Up. Hello, my friend. Do you want to see Johnny? Yeah, this is friendship, isn't it? We're friends. Yes. Yes. Hello. Good boy, you're noble. Yes, a noble beast. Yeah. Right, here's Bartok. So some people on Reddit are recommending these big pieces. The Messiah, of course, is traditionally associated with Christmas. Berlioz's L'Enfance du Christ is a real favourite of mine. It's a mid-Victorian piece from a period where you don't necessarily expect the best Christmas music to come from, but Berlioz produced this wonderful eccentric, typically of Berlioz, cantata. He originally wrote it as a sort of joke, trying to pass off a chorus called The Shepherd's Farewell as a piece by an 18th century French composer. Almost, I think he was so tired of everyone hating his music, and so he thought it'd be fun to write a piece that everyone would like, and then sort of be able to jump out of the bushes and say, oh, by the way, it's by me, that kind of joke. And it sort of worked because everyone did like it, and then he was able to say that he'd written it, and I think everyone was a little bit irritated that he'd done that, but good for him. And then he decided to turn it into a great big piece. But the original chorus, so you start off with this lovely little woodwind pastoral, and the chorus comes in with this lovely long melody. With these sort of surprising harmonies, as always with Berlioz. This is really amazing. And it turns to C major, G major, C major, and then back to home again. Loki's joining in there. Yes, Shepherd's Farewell. So the next thing on the list is, I guess it's a bit obscure, but it's so beautiful. It's something that Peter Warlock, the British composer, he actually lived in Kent, just up the road from here, in the 1920s, and he was a very eccentric guy. He was an occultist, and he even changed his name from Peter Heseltine to Peter Warlock. It was quite an odd thing to do. But he was an amazingly gifted composer. If you go online, you can go on YouTube and go down a wormhole just looking at all the recordings of Warlock's songs. They're so inventive and interesting. They're kind of a fusion of, well, I suppose it's like Elizabethan harmony and counterpoint. It's got that kind of texture. Slightly gnarly harmony, though, that's very, very kind of early 20th century, but a little bit modernist. So you've got this sort of curious blending of the English Renaissance with sensibilities of modernity. I suppose it's not a million miles from Vaughan Williams, but it's actually completely different because the style is more contrapuntal than Vaughan Williams. Well, here's a lovely example. It's a song that he had published in the Daily Telegraph. And you can see it because we're going to show you the page in which it first appeared. I'm actually going to play it from this page. It comes from the Daily Telegraph, December the 24th, 1927. And Warlock wrote it down. There's a link with Bartok instantly because Warlock was friends with Bela Bartok. And when Bartok used to come to Britain to perform as a pianist, he sometimes met up with Peter Warlock. They both had an interest in folk song. So I'm going to play just as a piano piece, although it was originally written for chorus, his beautiful song, Bethlehem Down. Isn't that lovely? If you don't know it, have a listen to the choral version, Bethlehem Down. It's often sung at the service of 9 lessons and carols from King's College. It's become a sort of Christmas classic. Fantastic, beautiful harmony. Here's another short piece. This one is by an even more recent British composer called John Tavener. This is his choral piece, The Lamb. It's so inventive in a sort of weird way. And one of the things I think you need with a Christmas piece is a sort of mystery about the harmony. There has to be something in there that's not entirely straightforward. It seems to me that Christmas is about a kind of mystery. It's about this sort of idea of the incarnation, and there's a kind of in the middle of the winter, this moment when something is revealed. And I think the harmony of Christmas needs to have something surprising about it as well. Often it's nice if there's a sense of something ancient. You know, there's something kind of medieval about Christmas, isn't there? We had it with Bethlehem Down a minute ago, a hint of the medieval, but also a hint of the modern. Here we have it again with John Tavener. He has this setting of The Lamb by William Blake, but the chorus sings this very simple tune, just that. And then there's another voice that's singing the same tune but inverted, like a mirror, which is quite weird. And then he puts the two together, so they make that weird kind of inverted or mirror object. So they create this sort of fantastic harmony out of the tune and its inversion. And then he does this really cool thing where he does this lovely leans into these beautiful seventh chords. And the slightly irregular rhythm, and then it goes slow on the last. And there's something melancholy about it, isn't there? Anyway, it's a beautiful piece. It sounds better as a chorus piece than as a piano piece, but I think it has something special and something indefinable about it. When I was thinking about pieces for this little talk, I noticed how many amazing things happened in the 1940s. I think in the 1940s, things were so bleak and the world was so dark that something sort of special about Christmas seemed to be magnified by the grimness of events in the world during that decade. And so you get lots of lovely Christmas pieces that were made during that time. I've written some of them down here. One of them is Britten's Ceremony of Carols, which was written in 1942, and it was written while he was travelling in a transatlantic convoy in a ship from the United States to the UK. So he's coming back to Britain, and he didn't have anything else to do, and almost to take his mind off how, mind-numbingly terrifying it probably was waiting to be torpedoed. He wrote this absolute masterpiece called Ceremony of Carols, which I won't play on the piano because I can't really. It's a piece for upper voices and harp, and it's absolutely staggering. It's the most magnificent piece. Check it out, the Ceremony of Carols by Benjamin Britten, written in 1942. Messiaen, Olivier Messiaen wrote his wonderful Vingt regards sur l'enfant Jésus, 20 visions of the infant Jesus in 1944. I don't propose to play very much of this. In fact, I just play the opening page, which is the Regard du Père, the Father gazing on the Son, God the Father, that is. So you've got these amazing chords, and you've got this triplet rhythm, which is a sort of Trinitarian thing, I think. This wonderful F-sharp major first inversion chord, very dark and low. Oh yeah, it's kind of like kind of the pulse of eternity or something. I once went to an incredible performance of this piece at the Barbican. It was around 2000. Pierre-Laurent Aimard was playing the entire cycle, and it became, I think for everyone in the audience, it was like a sort of religious experience because the whole piece is a kind of pilgrimage of the soul. It's quite incredible. So that's Vingt regards, Messiaen's masterpiece of 1944, and a bit of a Christmas piece. Quite an intense listen, but check it out if you feel up to the challenge. Prokofiev wrote his wonderful ballet Cinderella between 1940 and 1944. And it's wonderful escapist fairy tale ballet, but it's marvellous. This is the ball scene, the lovely waltz. Wonderful chords. All of this is slowly leading towards the melody. I'm going to stop there. It's just a tiny taste of the... Prokofiev's harmony is a bit miraculous. Almost every bar he chooses a harmony that you wouldn't expect, but it somehow works more beautifully than the harmony that you might expect. Just because I'm building up a whole bunch of pieces, and many of them from the 1940s, have a look below because there'll be links to recommended recordings of things. Another 1940s piece, different genre, but I'm one of these people who struggles to think in terms of different musical styles. Music is music, isn't it? All different genres of music contain things that are wonderful. And so here's something else from the 1940s. 1944 was the year of Meet Me in St. Louis, and the brilliant and touchingly talented Judy Garland sang Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas in that film in 1944, and it became an instant hit. And kind of poignantly, it preceded the Battle of the Bulge, the great German counteroffensive of the Second World War, by about 2 or 3 weeks. And as a result of that, soldiers on the front were, I believe they were singing this song as a sort of, nostalgic reminiscence of home. It became a song deeply associated with the Second World War. I'm not going to attempt to sing. I'm not going to attempt to sing Judy Garland's wonderful song, but I might try and play it on the piano. I actually don't have the sheet music, so I'm going to sort of try to remember it for you. If I make a mistake, feel free to point it out, but it's partly because I'm trying to make it up on the spur of the moment. So another song from the 1940s that was made famous by Nat King Cole in 1946, recorded by his trio that year, was a Christmas song, the one about chestnuts roasting by the fire and so forth. And it's got such lovely harmony. Let me just play it to you, a bit of it. The open fire evoked by these lovely arching phrases. Jack Frost nipping at your nose, or turn to the minor. And this lovely major key thing, which shifts back home. Really gorgeous harmony. Turn to the minor, isn't it lovely? Sort of poignant. Wonderful. Great song, beautifully sung by Nat King Cole. Ian, my collaborator on the channel, Ian Coulter's asked me to put in a word for the Christmas song from the Charlie Brown film. Well, it's got lovely chords. So you get this lovely sort of over the top of F major, but of course it's F major 7. And the second chord with that lovely flat, sharp 11. Beautiful. It's a very pretty and somehow melancholy song. There's all sorts of stuff. It becomes almost depressing, doesn't it, every year when you walk into supermarkets and so on, and there's this kind of endless playlist of George Michael and John Lennon and so on. And, you know, no one's a bigger Beatles fan than me, but I have to admit that I don't find either John Lennon's War Is Over or Paul McCartney's Christmas Time particularly exciting. In a way, they're quite just a little bit trivial. I mean, they're fine. I can understand the success of Lennon's famous song. Is it Yoko singing in the background there in that chorus? I can never quite tell. I suppose one song that does get awfully overplayed, but I quite like it, is Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. It's rather lovely, isn't it, that C minor thing. And then coming round to yeah, nice, really nice chords. But, you know, one does get a bit tired of it. Nevertheless, I think I'm going to stop holding forth now. That's enough Christmas music. Enjoy Christmas. Thanks for listening. Feel free to like and subscribe and press the little bell if you want notifications, little Christmas bell. And feel free to donate. We love the fact that some of you have decided to give recently. It's wonderful to have some patrons. And if you like the channel and think we've done a good job this year, please feel free to donate to the channel. And have a happy Christmas and a wonderful new year. And I look forward to continuing with everyone next year. Oh, I better get Loki back. Loki, come here. Loki, come here. Up. Yes, good boy. Good boy. So Loki's joined me at the piano. It's been a good year for the two of us. We've had great fun on the channel, and we'll see you in 2025. Have a great Christmas. Bye.